Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Gabby. If you're old here, I hope you've started your 401k. Love you. This video we are doing a weekend in my life, and I'm starting a little bit early today on a Thursday because the first thing we're gonna do is make a sourdough loaf. I have a couple friends coming over Saturday morning for a Bible study, so I'll take you guys through the whole prepping and hosting process, but I wanted to have a fresh loaf for them. So we'll start today and it'll be done tomorrow, so that way it's fully cooled by the time Saturday morning rolls around. I'm by no means an expert at making sourdough. I'll link all of the recipes that I use. I use a mix of 2 different recipes, but I see a lot of other creators waiting 6 months, a year, however long, to be like, oh, I finally felt prepared enough to show you guys how I make my loaves and I feel experienced enough and whatnot. I've made probably 5 loaves because most of the time I make 2 loaves in one batch. But I just wanted to show you all that you can be very amateur, very new, and you can still make delicious and beautiful sourdough loaves. And we'll kind of go along the process of learning together as it goes. I hopefully won't have any ginormous pitfalls this time. Last time my dough was way too wet and I was about to throw it all in the garbage, but we'll see how today goes. Like I said, we're starting a little bit early. This is Thursday, so today we'll feed our starter and shape the loaves, and then they'll go in the fridge overnight and we'll bake tomorrow morning, and then they'll have all of Friday to cool so that we can eat them on Saturday morning. But I'm excited to take you guys along with me this weekend, and I hope you enjoy. So let's get to the kitchen. Okay. So I added a tiny mic because my AC decided to turn on, and I opened the door to get more natural lighting because the lighting in this kitchen is very yellow. But all that to the side, this is my starter. It doesn't have a name because I just can't ever think of one. But I use the King Arthur starter method. I keep this starter in the fridge. When I was starting my starter, left it on the counter for about a week, feeding it every day to start building up the culture of the starter. Now that it's pretty robust, I would say, I only feed it when I'm gonna bake bread, so I leave it in the fridge the rest of the time. So I let this come to room temperature. I just left it on the counter for a little bit over 24 hours. And we are going to discard a bit and also feed our starter. The only tool I think is absolutely necessary when making sourdough is a kitchen scale. This is just for me really helpful in making sure I'm using the right amounts. I know some people just go by feel, but I think for new bakers, a kitchen scale is a really, really helpful tool. The flour that I use, this is unbleached all-purpose flour. This is King Arthur. I usually don't buy this. I baked a loaf for a friend, and in exchange she gave me a bag of flour and was kind enough to get me King Arthur flour, which is really great quality. But usually I just use whatever unbleached all-purpose flour that is the cheapest when I go to Walmart or Publix, so you don't need to be using anything crazy. And then we're also just going to use some warm water. I'm going to get mine directly from the sink. I don't use filtered or anything like that. And so yeah, that's pretty much all it takes to have a starter. So I'm going to turn on my kitchen scale and set it to grams. That is the unit that my recipes use, and I believe most recipes use. I'm going to put the bowl that I'm using and press tare, which basically just zeroes out the scale. It takes into account the weight that this already has, sets to 0, and now it can measure what you're adding. So I have a little bit over 90 grams of starter. It says 96. I expect to have 100 because that's what I fed it to have. There might be a little bit more. Let's see. Some people advise that you should use wooden utensils when working with sourdough starter and sourdough discard. I just have a silicone one, and that's what I use, and I haven't encountered any issues. So I have here, okay, 135 grams of starter. For the recipe that I am making, I'm making 1 loaf. So the recipe that I link, I'll be making half of that amount. That recipe requires, I believe, 500 grams of starter. No, I'm sorry, 500 grams of flour. I don't remember how many grams of starter. Let me look. Okay, so the recipe that I have requires 125 grams of active starter because I'm making a half batch. So what I'll do is I'll put in half of that amount of essentially discard, or this inactive or not as active starter, and then put in an equal amount of flour so that when it rises and doubles in size, I have what I need. So I'm gonna put in, let's see, 70 and 70 is 140, plus 5 and 5 is 150. So I'm gonna put in about 70 grams of starter, and I'm gonna do the same thing, just put my jar on, press tear. It's dirty, that does not matter. We're gonna put in 70 grams. That's 75 grams of starter, exactly. Now, the King Arthur method uses a 1:1:1 ratio. So we're gonna put in 75 grams of flour. I just pressed tear again. So now put in 75 grams of flour. A lot of recipes will have you feed it a certain amount every single day, regardless of the recipe that you're making. But I personally try to keep as little sourdough starter on hand as possible because I just think it's kind of wasteful. I don't have a lot of things that I use the discard recipes for. I just don't, I'm only one person, I can't eat that much. So I keep my amounts a little bit smaller than what you'll typically see. I believe they call for about like half a cup or a full cup of flour every time you feed. Okay, 75 grams of flour, tear again so it zeroes out. I'm just gonna grab a little bit warmer than room temperature water, not hot, because obviously you don't want to kill any of the microbes, I guess, in your starter. We're going to do 75 grams of water. I highly recommend using something with a spout, whether it's a measuring cup or not, just because it makes it really easy when you're getting closer to the amount that you need to do exactly what I'm doing, like barely putting a touch and coming back up. With cups, it like slides along the sides of it and just gives me an issue. So I put 77 grams of water, a little bit over, doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna take my spoon and mix it all together. And what you're looking for is a like thick pancake batter like consistency. I'll bring this to the camera and show y'all what mine looks like. And what I do towards the end is I kind of scrape the sides a little bit, and so that way I can have a good even measurement for where it started and where it's going. One great thing about having the water on hand is that now my hands are clean. I just stuck it in water. And I'll use the tape to measure where it starts. We want this to double in size before we use it in our bread recipe. In Florida, this takes maybe 3 to 4 hours. Some people it takes a whole day, especially if you live in a colder climate. It could take as much as 24 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours. So having this little tape measure and just checking on it periodically throughout the day is going to be the best way to tell, because you really want to get it when it's at that double and when it's at its peak activity, because once it starts to deflate, it's just not as strong. But this is that thick pancake batter texture that I was talking about. And so I'm going to leave this uncovered on the counter for, like I said, anywhere between 4 to 24 hours until it doubles in size. And then we'll add it to our recipe and get to bread making. One thing that I found really interesting, and this is just an aside about bread making, is that because the culture of the starter is the microbiomes and it's a fermented food, every starter is a little bit different depending on where you live, because that dictates what kind of bacteria you have in your area. So my starter is completely unique to me and to my home and to Florida, and so your starter will be completely unique to you. I think that just makes it extra special, because when you bake somebody a loaf or when you share it with friends or family, it's like, this is special to only me and only I could have handcrafted this specific loaf, which I think is really special. And you don't get that in a lot of baked goods, because obviously it's just a recipe that you follow, so anybody could replicate the same recipe over and over, but this is a little bit personal to you, so I think that's really sweet. But I'll see you guys when this is doubled in size. Hey y'all, it's been about 5 hours. It is doubled in size. It is very active and bubbly, as you can see. It still has that domed lid on the top. There is a little bit of dryness just because we didn't cover it, but that's not a big deal at all. And we are going to use this to make our dough. Hello. It is now Friday. It's about to be 12 o'clock, and on my lunch break, we are going to head to the grocery store because the grocery store in Miami at night is insane, and I didn't have a chance to go this morning. But because it's brunch, I did a really simple menu. Let me find my list. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I'm obviously making the sourdough. You guys saw this morning that I put that in the fridge. I did a pre-shape and then I put it in the fridge so that it can bulk ferment. I'll cook that probably around 2 or 3 o'clock, depending on when I feel like it, maybe even after work to give it more time to ferment. I obviously don't recommend starting this process later in the day like I did. I started around, I want to say like 11:30, and thankfully I usually wake up at 5 anyway, so I was able to shape my dough after just leaving it on the counter overnight to rise. But some people do start their starter the day before so that they can start really early in the morning with like the mixing, the folding, the shaping, and then they leave it in the fridge overnight to ferment and just bake it in the morning. So don't be like me. But we're doing sourdough bread. I actually ended up having enough sourdough discard to make a recipe that I found for sourdough blueberry lemon muffins. Those, I've made those once before and are amazing. Eggs, obviously, just because that's really easy. Avocado, so we can do like avocado toast, orange juice. And then in the Downshiftology cookbook, which I have right here, really easy meal prep, they have a chicken maple and tarragon breakfast patty recipe that I've been wanting to try. So I'm gonna do that. And thankfully I have most of the ingredients. I just have to buy the chicken. So we're gonna go and do that, and then I'll probably cook those patties tonight and just reheat them for tomorrow. So by the end of tonight, we'll have the bread will be ready. I'll bake the muffins as well. We'll do the patties, and that way tomorrow morning, all we'll have to do is make the eggs and make it look all cute. I'm also going later today to go pick up a folding table. My boyfriend's family has one, so I'm gonna go pick it up from their house, and we'll probably pop into Goodwill to see if I can find a circular tablecloth to make it look super cute and girly. I have, let me see if I can find them. I have the cutest little napkins that I got at Marshall's, and I have some nice tableware. Since these are like my friends, I'm not worried about using real plates. Oh, the AC's so loud. Let's come back this way. But as you guys can see, these are the cutest little napkins. So I'm hoping for some sort of like plaid or gingham tablecloth that I can find, because that'll be really cute. I'll take you guys along with what I do, but a majority of that's gonna be done in about 5 hours once I get done with work. So we're gonna take advantage of our lunch break and go get those groceries now. Groceries have been gotten, the burger's been eaten, and now it's time to make our muffins. We're gonna do the muffins, and then once those are done, we'll stick the cast iron pot in the oven to preheat so that we can cook our bread. And while the bread's cooking, we'll make the chicken patties. So I have the dry ingredients, the wet ingredients, a scale, a bowl. You don't need a scale, but the recipe that I follow has grams measurements in addition to the US system of measurement, so we're just gonna go with grams because I think that goes better. But I'll link the recipe that I used down below, and then I also have it written on some index cards that I'll show y'all in a second as well. But let's get baking. Our tray's ready to go. The oven's preheating to 350, and now all we gotta do is combine it all and throw it in the oven. Muffins are done and they look amazing, and now we're gonna do the chicken and maple and tarragon breakfast patties. I couldn't find tarragon at the store, so I'm just gonna put rosemary in them because I think that'll be a good complementary flavor, but just a little. So this is the recipe. So that's the recipe, and I'll also link the cookbook that it's from, so that way if y'all wanted to get this, it's actually a really good cookbook. It's all meal prep, so it gives you a bunch of different ideas for each meal and like how to put them together. And also if you wanted to only prep like 2 or 3 ingredients or 2 or 3 of the dishes, it shows you different combinations to put those together, and it also tells you the best way to save all your produce and everything like that. So I really like this one, so I'll link it down below for you guys as well. as y'all saw, we made the chicken mixture, and we also tidied it up really quickly, put our sourdough in the oven. I just use a knife because you can buy a bread lame, which is just like a razor on a stick. But who needs that when you have a knife? So that's what I use. You guys may have noticed there was some water on the top of my sourdough loaf, or I guess the bottom when I flipped it over. I just added a little bit of water to the top of it earlier today because the top was starting to dry out in the fridge. So yeah, but I really brought y'all here so I can show you a quick little trick. Before I roll the meat into patties, I'm just gonna take a baking tray and I'm gonna line it with cling wrap. And so that way I'll make each little ball of chicken and put it on top of the cling wrap, and that way I can take it directly. But once the first couple patties are done, I can just fold the cling wrap over itself and put all of the cooked patties here. So it makes it an easy way not to get a plate dirty, especially if you're making a bigger batch of patties. And this obviously goes for anything that you are preparing ahead of time to go on the stovetop or in the oven, but yeah. Okay, the timer just went off for the bread, so we are going to take it out, take off the top of the pot, and then put it back in so that way the outside can get all brown and crusty, but I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second when I take it out. Can y'all see what that looks like right now? It looks delicious. So we're gonna put it back in the oven for like 12 to 15 more minutes. It was just in there for 30. I might put it for a little bit longer. I'm wanting to get like a deep brown crust. I've never been brave enough to try, but I think today's the day. So I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. The bread is done. We're gonna take a look. Shut up, it looks so, I'm scared. It looks so good. Perfect, so I'm gonna let this chill in here for, I don't know, maybe an hour, just to like, actually, I have heard some people say to turn the oven off and then leave it in there so that it like really gets fantastic, amazing. But I'll let you guys know what I decide to do. Okay, y'all, it's almost 9 p.m. and we're officially done for the day. Like y'all saw, we made the sourdough, we made the muffins, we made the chicken patties. I did run to Aldi's and grab some more eggs because I don't think I have enough. But I wanted to share with y'all that my plan for the night is to go through my receipts. I think when you're hosting something, some people think that it's like, okay, well, because I'm hosting it, I have to essentially pay for all of it. And I think especially when you're young, especially when you're in your 20s, and especially if it's with a group of people that, well, I think regardless actually of who it is, regardless of whether or not they're your close friends or not, it's totally okay to ask people to send you a few bucks so that you can afford to put together like a cute, nice little thing. So I'm gonna go through my receipts and just make sure that I didn't go over budget. I had everybody send me $10, so my budget was $50, and I'll insert a little thing here to let y'all know if I went over or not. I did pop into Goodwill. I didn't show it because they were closing up and I didn't want to, you know, take longer than I needed to, but I got this like butter yellow tablecloth. I believe it's rectangular, but it looked wide enough to go over the table, so we'll find out tomorrow. And then I also got this runner that has a cute little like floral detailing. I don't know if y'all could see it. It also kind of has like a cute fringy thing going on at the bottom. So I think that will look cute draped across the center of the table. And yeah, that's kind of it for tonight. I'm debating whether or not I'm gonna make place cards for everybody, or like name cards. You guys know what I mean, so that they know where to sit. I think it really just depends on time, if I feel like it tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'm just gonna go through my receipts. Tomorrow morning we're gonna wake up early. The girls are coming over at 9:30-ish. We're all Hispanic or Caribbean, so 9:30 isn't 9:30 on the dot. But I think I'm going to wake up around 6:30 just so I can get myself awake and do what I need to do in the morning. I like to read my Bible every morning. Right now I'm reading through the book of Proverbs. So I read one chapter a day. I do that first thing in the morning before I do anything else. Just to make sure I have enough time to do that, like just be awake for the day, probably have a little bit of like a pre-breakfast or something. And then around 7, I'm going to start getting everything else set up. So we'll take the tables out of the car. We'll take the table out of the car and put it in, set it up. Just get the whole table set up and then start cooking. Actually, now that I think of it, I only really need to cook the eggs, so maybe not. Okay, I'll let you guys know what time I wake up, but we're starting prep sometime between 7 and 8 a.m. because it always takes longer than I think it's going to. It always takes longer than you think it does. So I'm just building an extra time for that, especially since I want to... Oh, that's why I'm starting early. Sorry, y'all. You can tell it's the end of the day. I'm starting early so that way everything can hopefully be ready to go by 7:30, so I can have from 7:30 to 8, or, you know, so I can have about 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour to get ready and then cook before everybody comes. So we're starting around 7:30. We'll see what time I wake up. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the morning. Gloomy outside right now, but obviously it's still early, so the sun has to come out. But I'm thinking right here will be cute, and then I'll bring maybe like a couple blankets or towels out so that there's like floor seating also if people want, but mainly just so that it because it's very humid outside, but I got it all finished. I did add little hair ties, little scrunchies on the sides here because, like I told y'all, it's a rectangular tablecloth on a circle table, and I just didn't want the fabric to be in everyone's way, like on their feet. But you definitely don't have to do that. But yeah, I think it looks cute. The weather is still kind of dark, but the sun's coming out, so let's just pray it doesn't rain between now and when the girls come over. Y'all, we're doing something crazy. We are heading to Publix to pick up flowers, and it's 8:53. Thankfully, I live like 5 minutes from a Publix, so this shouldn't be a long errand at all. We should be back with more than enough time, but I feel kind of crazy zipping to Publix. Like, imagine somebody shows up early and I'm just not there, not at my house. They're like, hi, I'm here. I'm like, I'm not. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Okay, we're in the final stretch. It's 9, I don't even know what time it is. But it's like 9:10, 9:05. We're gonna slice the bread and put it in the oven to get it all toasty. Muffins are done. We're gonna reheat the chicken patties just while the toast is toasting. We're gonna mix the eggs, and then I'm going to put all the flowers in a few different bases so that we can arrange the table all cute. But I think I'm gonna time lapse it just so I can focus, but I'll show you all when it's done. One thing I didn't think of is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I do have 5 plates. I thought that I only had 4 because most plates come in a set of 4, but I guess the one I bought came in a set of 5. I was worried. I was like, I'm not gonna have a plate for myself. But I don't know if y'all can see, I got everything laid out. I had cream cheese and butter softening from this morning, and I think I'm gonna just put a little bowl of like cheese and chives if anybody wants to throw in their eggs, because I'm just gonna do a big scramble. So I'm gonna do 2 eggs per person, because we have the chicken patties and the toast and all these other things. So we're gonna do 2 eggs per person, just scrambled in the pan. And yeah, let's do it. Okay, y'all. It was a success. I don't think anybody showed up until like 9:50, so I definitely had some extra time to get everything situated. But it was so much fun. The girls stayed over, and we did Bible study and then just chatted and hung out. It's 2:30 now, and I just finished cleaning everything up, putting away the table and the chairs, folding all the dishes, please, washing all the dishes. But it was so much fun, and like in the middle of it, and I like came into the room to go to the bathroom, and I was like, this brings me so much joy. So I hope I can share more content like this. Like I said, I will put the recipe for the muffins and for the sourdough loaf in the description below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed doing it, and I'll see you tomorrow. I was just about to end it, and I forgot it was a weekend in my life. So tomorrow we're doing church for sure, and then I don't know where else the day is going to take us. I think I'm going to go work out now. So I'm not going to film that because I look crazy when I work out, but if I do anything else that's fun, I'll let you guys know. My plan is really just to relax for the rest of the night. Definitely read, maybe watch a movie, start editing this vlog maybe. But yeah, oh my gosh, how funny. I literally thought, I was like, okay, bye. No girl, you still have a whole other day to go. I actually think my boyfriend's family is having a picnic tomorrow, so if I make something to bring to that and I don't just show up with soda, I'll show you guys that as well. But if nothing else, we'll go to church tomorrow. And yeah, I guess maybe from here on out it's gonna be kind of like a reading vlog. I don't know, but we'll see where the weekend takes us. Okay. Bye for now. It's me. I'm back again. It's been like 30 minutes and I laid around and did nothing, just sat on Instagram. And then I thought to myself, it is so beautiful outside, and I've been telling myself for a few days that I want to go on a long run, which for me is like maximum 3 miles. I've been doing 2 and 1 mile runs lately, but I've got this idea in my head that I like want to do a 5K sometime soon. So it's like, why not go for it? The weather's amazing. There's plenty of daytime left. Like, the day's not over. So we're ready for a run. It's extremely humid outside, so I'm wearing a tank top, which I wouldn't normally do to go run. I also put on this hat. Let me know if I look dumb or if it doesn't suit me. I think maybe like a trucker style hat would be cuter because it would have a little bit more height, like forward height, as opposed to like sloping backwards. But let me know if I look dumb. Genuinely. In my little baggie, which I don't run with this, I just put the key fob in my pants or in my bra. But I wanted to show y'all, I'm bringing these little Vermont uncured turkey pepperoni sticks. They are so good. I am trying to lose weight, so I'm calorie counting. And these are 35 calories a little stick, so it's 70 for 2, so I brought 2. Because as a reward for running and keeping my promises to myself and achieving my goals, I'm gonna hammock after. And so I wanted to make sure I had a snack so I wasn't ravenous and wanting to come immediately home instead of reading outside, because that's always so fun and it makes me feel so like rested and at peace. So I'm bringing my Kindle as well, obviously. So we're gonna attempt to run. Well, we are gonna run. How many miles we do? That the 5K is an attempt, but we're running. And yeah, we're gonna head to the park. What else? I think that's it. And it's so funny because I literally thought this vlog was over like 2 minutes ago. That's not true. However many minutes ago it was. And I was like, for a girl who thought this was over, you sure have a lot to say. But was there anything else I wanted to say? I feel like I had something to say. I don't know. It's fine. If I think of it, I'll let y'all know. But yeah, this is so funny. The last time I did a weekend in my life or a day in my life, I went to the rodeo, and that was a lot of like just showing y'all what was going on. And I would like to do more videos where you guys get to see like my personality. Because I feel like when I'm doing my book videos, I'm like, this is an interesting book for these reasons. Like, I'm very subdued and not as goofy. If any of you watched my 24-hour readathon, I was unhinged by the end of that. But yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm so like subtle and subdued, but I'm also like very joyous and goofy and whatever, which it's so losery to call yourself goofy, but it's the truth. So I have nothing else to say, and I'm just talking for the sake of talking. Comment back. Tell me what your favorite breakfast food is, because I need more breakfast ideas because I'm really slacking on the breakfast train. I've been on my eggs grind and I feel like I'm gonna hate them in like a week. So give me some breakfast ideas. And if you're a runner girly or guy, let me know what like pants or leggings you wear, or like what brand of workout wear. I'm wearing Lululemon just because that's like what my mom got me when I spoke about it however long ago. But I want to get into other brands and see what's good. I've never tried Gymshark or Alpha Lead or any of these other brands. So drop a comment. Let me know what's good. And let me know if I look stupid in this hat. And if you know of any good trucker hats, let me know what brands you like as well. Thumbs up. I remembered my thought. I wanted to know if you guys have any good running sock recommendations, because I'm just wearing regular socks and I have one pair of running socks that's like padded and I like them, but they're not my favorite. So if you guys have any good running sock recs, drop them in the comments, please, 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 please. Thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so sweaty. Can we just normalize being the sweatiest person in the room every time you do a workout, regardless of what the workout is? Sometimes I feel embarrassed because of how much I freaking sweat. And it's not just during workouts, it's literally like all the time. So if you're a sweaty girly, I stand in solidarity with you. It is 78 degrees. Oh, and now we finally got a breeze. Thank you, God. He knew I needed a breeze after my workout. It's 78 degrees and 70% humidity. Like, y'all, I'm wearing a tank top and I'm still sweating it up like crazy. I just did a 45-minute full body MadFit workout. I really like her full body workouts. I try to do those on either Saturday or Sunday, just to switch it up and get something a little bit more high intensity into my routine, because I do a lot of strength training throughout the week and then like walking and running. I don't think I told you yesterday, I did my 5K. It was a little bit slower than I would have liked, but it got done and I had it in my mind and, you know, just decided I was going to do it, and I did, so it felt good to accomplish a goal. But yeah, as y'all saw, I just did my thing. We ran, we read, came home. I literally read for from like 7 till like 10 when I fell asleep, so 3 hours. I woke up again this morning and finished Us Against You, which I thought that had just come out, but I looked on Kindle Unlimited. Okay, Birdie, pipe down. I'm speaking right now. But it's a trilogy, and there's another book called The Winners. So I'm debating downloading that, but I really do want to get to my March TBR because I have Throne of Glass on there. So I think maybe I'll just jump straight into that. For some reason, I've had it on my shelf since Christmas, and I just finally have the desire to pick it up and read it. I think it's because everybody's talking about Crescent City and ACOTAR, and I just want to be like, okay, well, what's all the hype behind Sarah J. Maas? I finally want to figure it out. But it's 9:30 now. I need to look presentable, and we are going to head to church, and we'll see where else the day goes. I'll let you guys know what I pick up in terms of my next read, but yeah, I'm excited for the day. It's beautiful out, and I don't know, I'm just really happy and excited for today. I just have a good feeling about it. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, whatever day you're watching this, and I'll see y'all later, or I guess you'll see me. I don't know if I'll see you, but I wanted to show you guys my sourdough starter because, like I told you before, I do the scrapings method and I accidentally didn't leave enough. So I'm basically starting over from scratch, or like the very, very, very ultra tiny bit that I don't think was enough to keep my starter alive, scrapings that I left after I made sourdough. I noticed on Friday, so I've been feeding it, and like I said, I used the King Arthur method, but I didn't use wheat or rye or what is it? I can't remember what other flour they ask you to use for the first time you feed it. I've just been using all-purpose because I've heard a lot of other people do that with success. So, oh my Lord, she's spinning. This is what it looks like right now. This is after 2 days of feeding, so I'm about to feed it right now. So it looks bubbly, which is nice. Oh, can y'all see it? Let me see if I take it into this one. You can see. There we go. You can see a little bit better. And it's in the cutest little jar from TJ Maxx. But I do, oh my Lord, we're all crooked. I do, I've been doing 75 to 80 grams of flour and then 80 grams of water. And so it looks nice and bubbly and good, which is awesome, but it hasn't been doubling in size yet. So I'm going to just keep feeding it until it does that at least 2 days in a row. And then I think it'll be ready to use in my bread. So just in case you make that mistake like me, just keep feeding and it'll get back to where it's supposed to be, I hope.